Constructed with Numot, Modern Storm. Hello friends, welcome back to another edition of Constructed with Numot. This time, we are going to play some modern, everybody's favorite format, maybe not, and it's going to be Storm. With the addition of Bogle from the new set, Storm got a lot better because now you have access to additional mana dorks that make your instant and sorceries cost less. So beforehand you only had Electromancers, now you get Bogles, and you actually run 4 Bogle even though they're legendary because 1, they're easier to cast, and 2, they have better synergy with Remand. 3, you only really ever need 1 creature to go off, and so having multiples is generally fine because you're able to play one, and if they have a removal spell, which they often do, then you're able to play another after that, no worries, and get some additional value. So let's run a modern competitive league and see how we do. Alright, here we are for the first match with our blue-red Gift Storm deck. We won the die roll, we are going to play first. And we have a pretty nice hand. You only have 1 copy of Empty the Warrens in the initial main deck, but so it's not the easiest way to go off. We're going to lead with Flooded Strand here, just get an island end of turn Thought Scour ourselves. Nice thing about Thought Scour is that you can Thought Scour and hit a Past in Flames in your graveyard, or you can just fill up your graveyard with other nice spells as well. Alright, we hit a Gifts, an Electromancer. Drew a Sleight of Hand. Opponent played a Mystic Gate turn 1, which probably leads to a more control-y deck. I could try to go off this turn, it's just very, very unlikely, so I think here we're just going to start with a Sleight of Hand, and probably just take another land here, and then I'll play an untapped Steam Vents and Sleight of Hand again. Okay, we found ourselves a Merchant Scroll, which I'm going to take over Serum Visions, because Merchant Scroll can go ahead and find another Gifts Ungiven. Plains. 2 mana, double blue, Spreading Seas on my Steam Vents. Alright, that's not that bad for us. This deck can thrive off of 1 red source. I'm just going to get a Mountain here in case the opponent has another Spreading Seas or fetches. Can still find that last Steam Vents. So what we can do here with double blue is play the Brawl, play the Manamorphose. Actually, play the Pyretic Ritual, then play the Manamorphose and see if we can go off, getting double blue here. Drew a Serum Visions. So I have a few routes I can go. I can Serum Visions or Merchant Scroll. Either way, I'm probably going to end up using an empty here, so we're just going to lead on Serum Visions instead. And we did, in fact, find another Pyretic Ritual, so we're almost certainly bottoming the Fountain, but we can top the Ritual here. And what I can do is I can Ritual, Remand it, and then draw the other Ritual and go Ritual, Ritual. So I will have, let's see. The problem is that uses my only blue source up if I do that. And I do need another blue source to go off with Gifts Ungiven. But I think that's fine because we do get to go pretty deep, so let's top this. We will Pyretic Ritual, Remand it. We get to loot off of Brawl, draw that other Pyretic Ritual. Found a Spire Bluff Canal. We don't necessarily want that. And then we go Ritual, Ritual, empty for 16 tokens. Or 18 rather, since Storm counts 9. And we force the opponent to do something pretty crazy here. Because they don't have the 4th land, they can't Supreme Verdict. And since they're not on the play, they don't get to cast it before I get to at least attack in once. And so now we can just attack in for 19. Put the opponent to 1. They're probably going to have to Wrath next turn. But that is fine by us. We'll go ahead and get our Gifts Ungiven with this Merchant Scroll. It's going to be a Mana Leak? Oh, a Spell Snare. Okay, fair enough. Right, and so we still can fizzle off here. Even if they go land Supreme Verdict, I need to draw like a Grape Shot or another go off spell. All right, there's the Verdict. And yeah, we'll play the Brawl, but again, I need to find a little bit more action. 1 life is not 0 life. I think I liked going for it that turn instead of waiting another turn, because I definitely could have just Merchant Scrolled instead of the turn that I emptied for a large amount, but this puts the opponent way on the back foot. Ooh, that is a good-looking Kitchen Finks. Haven't seen that promo one before. All right, Serum Vision's the draw for us. Let's go ahead and start off with that. And I found some junk. Gonna bottom that both. I don't think we run out the Electromancer. We're not planning on attacking anytime soon, and we don't want to run in to another Supreme Verdict effect. All right, another Serum Visions from the opponent. And really, we're happy if they just continue to keep playing Kitchen Finks, because this deck is very capable of just going off. Unfortunate for us, I didn't get to go off with the initial Storm combo gifts, but hey, empty the ones for 18 goblins or whatever it was on turn 3 is not too shabby. Alright, 3 mana from the opponent. Snapcaster Mage, flashing back Serum Visions, yeah. And again, all it takes is one good draw and the game is instantly over. A Grape Shot wins at this point. We have 2 in the main deck. Gifts Ungiven is basically a win. Past in Flames is a win. Oh, they gave us an extra land here. It's nice of them. Because now that they're tapped out, we just have everything in the world to go for. Manamorphose is not necessarily a win, but a card I certainly cast here and see if we can go off still. Brawl number 2. Again, not what we're looking for, but we'll happily just play it out as a blocker. Now the thing is, the opponent starts holding up like Cryptic Command, and now it's a little bit too late for me, but we'll just try to buy time, set up. We'll take the Remand happily. Wow, that's a good pickup. We'll see what the opponent wants to do end of turn. If this is just a Sphinx's Reb, I'm going to go ahead and Remand. Pay 1 blue. Get a loot with Brawl. There's a Merchant Scroll, which can go get another Gifts Ungiven. Can also get Remand. Hey, another Remand. It was a beautiful draw for us, so let's Merchant Scroll here. Let's go get that Gifts Ungiven. Looks like the opponent might counter this here with lovely old Cryptic Command. And I'm going to try to Remand this back to their hand and hope this resolves. I could also Remand the Merchant Scroll. Oh, in fact, that's maybe what I should have done. Wow, but it resolved for us, which is a great sign. I don't need an Electromancer. Think twice in response. All right. Do they have a Spell Snare? They do not. So we get the gifts. Can I go off this turn? I am very, very close to doing so. Let's see. Let's get Steam Vents here. Our last Steam Vents. I can Desperate Ritual, 3 mana floating, 4, 5 mana floating, go back to 3, go back to 1. It actually is possible to fizzle here. That's unfortunate, but I think we go ahead and Desperate here first. And then go to cast the Gifts Ungiven. Again, I'm just going to hold on to one of the creatures in our hand just in case. So we want to get Ritual. Ritual, Past in Flames, Grape Shot, and that should do the trick. Now they they have to put the Grape Shot in the graveyard, but if they give me Past in Flames with either Ritual, we win from there, or if they just give me double Ritual, then we get to Ritual, and then cast the Past in Flames from my graveyard for its flashback cost. Good stuff, good stuff. This is one of the hardest parts about the deck for the opposing side. When you cast Gifts Ungiven, Gifts Ungiven is one of those cards that's not only hard to choose from, unless you're playing the Storm deck and you've gotten the reps in and you know what you're doing, but it's also one of those cards that's very hard for the opponent to decide what they want to give you. So they gave me a Ritual. I can cast Past in Flames for 3 mana here. And now I can just Grape Shot from my graveyard, and Storm count is currently 9. So that will be the end of that. Game 1 we took from the blue-white control deck. We would like to play against the blue-white control deck much more than like Grixis control, anything like that. Those decks generally give us a harder time. So versus them, we bring in the Blood Moons. I generally like to bring in some number of Artifact and Enchantment hate, because Rest in Peace is definitely a thing. Relic of Progenitus. They sometimes bring in Ley Lines so that you can't target them. I do like bringing in the other empty, the Warrens as well, just because it's nice to have another multiple, or at least multiple ways to produce out a large quantity of creatures for the win. I usually take out Thought Scour. You don't need 2 Grape Shots. You can perfectly go off with 1. We do want to keep the 3 Remands. I will keep the 2 Merchant Scrolls. I think I'm going to shave a Gifts Ungiven and 1 more card. Could just be another Merchant Scroll or Gifts. A lot less reliant on Gifts in this matchup, but it's still very, very nice to have. I'm not sure why that's glitching out. It says we have 3 Empty the Warrens. There we go. So let's take out 1 Merchant Scroll and maybe just 1 Remand, and we'll try to ship this versus the blue-white deck. All right, on the draw here versus blue-white control, going to game 2, we're up a game, and we have a very nice hand. It doesn't have a turn 2 Manamorphose, but it has 2 of our hate cards, sideboard cards, and a Serum Visions to potentially find us a Ritual to cast a turn 2 Blood Moon. Now, a lot of times I see blue-white decks and they run a lot of basics, so Blood Moon is sometimes a whiff. In fact, our opponent did lead with an island here, but frequently it's still good because it can hit their like Celestial Colonnades, stuff like that. I'm gonna bottom the Tarn and keep the gifts. Do another Ritual for the turn. So if they tap out for something here, I can go turn 2 Desperate Ritual into Blood Moon. Otherwise, I can just sit back. I'm in no rush. It generally takes them a while to find the means to kill you, and by then you're able to hopefully find like a Remand or something to just go off all in 1 turn. Looking good for us here, though. All right, Glacial Fortress and pass. And because they passed, I'm just not going to do anything either. I'll play the Steam Vents tapped rather, and pass the turn. We gotta think twice, that's fine. Our Spire Bluff Canal notably still enters untapped, as we have only 2 other lands. There is merit to playing the canal, though, since if I draw another canal, then that one's automatically going to enter tapped, but there we go. And I actually might have made a mistake here. It's possible I wanted to play the Flooded Strand and get my last island, because I will just happily jam the Blood Moon at this point. But again, we can function off of 1 island, so I do like playing this here, while they only have 1 mana open. You might be asking yourselves, oh, okay, well, they conceded the Blood Moon. I was going to say, you might be asking yourselves, how do we play Wear and Tear if you have Blood Moon on the battlefield and your only white source is Hollowed Fountain? You can Manamorphose into it, of course, but looks like they're going to scoop there, and let's go to the second match. Round 2 with Storm. We are on the play because we won the roll. And this hand is very mana heavy, but I think it's a keep. You have Serum Vision's turn 1 to kind of set up, and Gifts Ungiven is always a card you want to see in your hand. So I think I'm going to give this a shot. It doesn't take much for this hand to go off. We might be playing against some form of discard, right? Inquisition, that type of thing would hurt, obviously, but this deck is capable of beating discard heavy draws. So give this a shot, see what we can do here. Hopefully the opponent lets us take our turn. And we get to cast a lovely Serum Visions turn 1. Okay, they let us do our thing. Let's go get an island here. Plenty of red sources already in hand. Drew another Manamorphose. We are going to bottom the Spire Bluff and happily top the Electromancer, which we could run at turn 2. I don't always like doing it. Sometimes it's good to wait because you can go off on turn 3 while casting the Electromancer or Brawl on that very same turn, depending on if you have the correct amount of rituals / the Gifts Ungiven already in hand. Polluted Delta. Let's see what they get. Overgrown Tomb. Okay. And we are going to eat a Thoughtseize. All right. So Gifts Ungiven almost assuredly going to be discarded here unless they have more discard effects in their hand. Then I could see them taking a Manamorphose. I think I just like playing the Spire Bluff Canal in passing and not playing out the Electromancer just quite yet now that our gifts has been stripped from us. Not quite sure what the opponent's on just quite yet. Could definitely be the Death Shadow aggro deck that's been making waves as of late, but content to just pass here. No rush. And the more lands that I draw, the better it is for the later game. Okay, could be Jund, could be Death Shadow still. They are just definitely Death Shadow aggro. If they have a Street Wraith, then really good sign for that. So we might be seeing a 1-mana XX here in a second. The nice thing about the Death Shadow deck, because they deal so much damage to themselves, you're able to go off without Past in Flames nonsense just by casting like a lowly Grape Shot. All right, traverse the Ulvenwald, getting Death Shadow as a 3/3 currently, although they can make it bigger with the Verdant Catacomb. 4 cards still in the opponent's hand. I don't need to draw much here to just go off and win the game, but we'll see. Okay, well, that is an interesting draw. I think we go ahead and go for it now. Play the Electromancer and go for the triple Manamorphose. Would not be surprised to see a fatal push in my very near future. Okay, they're at 9 already. I imagine they're going to get an untapped Black Source, or it just could be Bolt here, Tarfire, something like that. Indeed it is, but luckily for me, I still get to go off sort of in response to that. Float a red and a blue, and then float another red-blue. Brawl, okay, that was a good draw. Electromancer dies, get red-blue. Found the Grape Shot, and that should be game. So we'll Brawl here. We'll Serum Visions, doesn't matter, irrelevant. And then we will Grape Shot them for 8. And like I said, the Death Shadow aggro deck does so much damage to themselves that I didn't even need to Past in Flames or Gifts Ungiven. I was able to just cycle into a Grape Shot and do it for enough. So in this match, you love the ley lines, you love the Blood Moons, and I actually like bringing in the bolts as well for the earlier mentioned fact that they deal so much damage to themselves. Empty the Warrens is also a great win con too. They don't always run Teamer Battle Rage, and even if they do run Teamer Battle Rage, it's like a one of. So Empty the Warrens not only produces you with a ton of blockers for their huge creatures, you can also just go wide often. often enough anyway. Take out the Thought Scour, take out the Remands, take out a Gifts, take out... Actually, no, we want to leave the Grape Shot. Take out maybe one more Scroll and one more Gifts. I'm a little bit hesitant on the Blood Moons versus Death Shadow aggro. They almost always, for that matter, get non-basics because they want to be dealing damage to themselves. But on the draw, it's a little bit worse. It's still good, though, if I'm able to cast it turn 2 off of a ritual, so I think I like them. But again, they're a little bit worse on the draw than they are on the play. We'll see what kind of hand we can open them up with. Very good one. It doesn't have a ley line, but 2 Serum Visions and 2 important creatures. This is definitely a keep. I fully expect one of these creatures to get stripped from my hand this turn. Indeed it is, a Thoughtseize. Their deck runs so many discard effects that having a ley line in your opening hand is such a boon. But alright, Manamorphose, a good draw. Let's Serum Visions. Manamorphose, Scalding Tarn. Manamorphose the draw off the Serum Visions, and then Scalding Tarn, Merchant Scroll on top. We'll keep the Scroll on top. We don't need the land. I'm probably just going to Spirebluff Canal for Gifts next turn. Although it fully depends on what the opponent does. They might just Tarmogoyf. We'll see. Alright, indeed it is a Tarmogoyf. I guess I have a few options, though, because I have Electromancer with double Manamorphose in my hand. I don't need to Merchant Scroll here. Getting Gifts is fine, but not the best. This looks like a Surgical Extraction on maybe my Brawl. Oh, on my Serum Visions. Okay. That makes sense, too, since they knew I had another one in my hand. Down to 13 they go. Strip the Serum Visions from my hand. And now we're definitely just going to be casting this Merchant Scroll. That also smells like they have another one in their hand, because I don't think you usually use a Surgical that loose. Unless you have another. And if they do have another, that means they only have 2 other cards in their hand, which is a good sign for us. Probably just looking through my deck, seeing what kind of nasty cards I might have. Alright, they have removed all of my Serum Visions, taking a look at my deck, and I'm just going to pass with a little Merchant Scroll for Gifts Ungiven here. Possible we go off next turn. If I'm still putting the opponent on having another Surgical in the hand, it's a lot less likely that we're able to. I would love for the opponent to tap out for, like, I don't even know, just another Tarmogoyf here. But I imagine they're not going to. Alright, there's a Death Shadow. 1 card, or rather 2 cards in their hand. We drew a Lightning Bolt, which is kind of sweet. I think I'm going to go for it here. I think I'm going to play my Electromancer and go for a Manamorphose. Alright, looks like they have the Tarfire in response. Let's add a red, blue. And yeah, probably just have to bolt the Death Shadow and pass the turn now. The second Gifts Ungiven was a really bad draw. Tarmogoyf is a 3-turn clock currently. Untapped land wouldn't be bad here. Sleight of hand, not great though. Brawl and a Leyline of Sanctity. Alright, I'm going to actually play out the Brawl here, because I don't have the resources to just sit around and wait. If they had Liliana, they would have already cast it. If they had a removal spell, they would have done it end of turn. They could have Temur Battle Rage here, but I'm going to take that risk. Alright, Forest and another Tarmogoyf. 1 card in the opponent's hand. Okay, and now we might be able to do it here. It's going to be a little bit tricky. We're going to need some good draws, but we are very capable of doing so. Ritual was a great start. All right, and with that, we should actually win this turn, barring that surgical extraction, which I did say I thought they had, but maybe they were just feeling a little bit greedy with the surgical on my Serum Visions to start the game. We'll find out. Nope. Okay, so they give me the Past in Flames, so that means we win. If they had the surgical, they would have put the Past in Flames in my graveyard, I think. All right. Add a red, Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose. And remember, all of these cost 1 less because we have Brawl on the battlefield. Manamorphose, get 2 blue. And now you just cast Gifts Ungiven again. And I don't actually need to get a Past in Flame since there's one already in my graveyard and I drew the other one. So we just get like some random number of rituals and Grape Shot, and that's the game. Good stuff. I wouldn't say Death Shadow aggro is a good matchup for Storm, not at all. In fact, I think they're probably favored 65-35, 60-40. But in scenarios like this, well, you can win. I think that Surgical, again, was a little bit loose by the opponent. If that was the only one, then they should definitely have saved it for a Past in Flames. But as they did not, we were able to take that match 2-0, and let's bring back a third. League match number 3, we're on the play, because again, we're lucky, and we won the die roll. And again, we have a pretty nice hand. 2 Serum Visions, one of the important creatures, a ritual effect. Happily going to keep this. Scalding Tarn for Island here on turn 1. Visions away. Find another Electromancer and a Sleight of Hand. I actually like keeping both of those. The thing is, if the first Electromancer gets killed or discarded from my hand, then I have a backup. Windswept Heath into Temple Garden. Okay, a few decks this could be. I'm imagining a Noble Hierarch. Oh, but this is Bogles. Bogles is one of the better matchups for us, I would say. And I can just happily ram out the Electromancer. If they want to use a path on this, I'm A-okay with that. If they just, you know, equip up their Slippery Bogle, then good stuff is still going to happen for me. All right. Rancor plus Ethereal Armor means I'm going to be taking 5 here. But it is possible that I also just win this turn. I think we want to do a bit of setup, though. So Sleight of Hand first. Okay, that finds a Past in Flames. We'll take that into Serum Visions. For the lovely Gifts Ungiven. And we actually want to keep both of those. And we'll attack for 2. We don't mind having that third land at all, and the Manamorphose can draw to the card underneath it. So unless the opponent can kill me here with Coronet plus, well, they would need something crazy, we are going to win. All right, so we're going to play that Steam Vents untapped. We are going to Ritual. We are then going to Manamorphose, adding 2 blue. We're going to then Gifts Ungiven. Get Desperate Ritual. Past in Flames. Oh, I actually don't need to get Past in Flames since I already have it in my hand. So Desperate Ritual, Grape Shot number 2, Manamorphose, Pyretic Ritual. And because we have one in our hand already, the Storm count does not need to be very high for us to just go Grape Shot, win, or Grape Shot, Past in Flames, Grape Shot, etc. The only other time I've played against Bogles with this deck was actually at GP Vancouver. Very similar thing happened here. Our opponent played a creature, hit me for a lot of damage, and then I killed them on the next turn. Alright, so Now that we have 2 Desperate Rituals in our hand, we can actually cast the first and splice the second onto it, get 6 red, Desperate Ritual again. Actually, don't want to Past in Flames just yet. Grape Shot then for 7. Then we can Past in Flames, give it Flashback. And everything is great. Everything is awesome. Ritual. Oh, I don't even need to do that. We can just cast both Grape Shots from our graveyard. The funny thing is, this deck, when it wins, you can deal upwards of, I don't even know, hundreds, thousands of damage with the Grape Shot, and on like turn 3 or 4. That's the lovely thing, because when it gets going, there's no stopping it. All right. And a quick and easy turn 4 win there. Versus the Bogles. I'm told Blood Moon is good versus them. Again, I'm on the draw, so it might be a little bit worse. Obviously, Shocks and Lightning Bolts aren't at their best. I do think it could be okay to bring in some number of Wear and Tear for the enchantments. Probably instead of the Romance. But other than that, I don't want to sideboard in too many cards versus them. You really want to keep your game plan solidified. In fact, I'm just going to go and take out 1 Wear and Tear. Only bring in 2. And maybe cut my Thought Scour, which is a card that generally comes out. And see if we can do this for game 2 versus Bogles. I could consider bringing in Anger of the Gods as well, but once they get a Coronet or one of their Totem Armors on a creature, those get quite a bit worse. Alright, presumably we are going to be on the draw, and this hand is not acceptable. It's very close. If it had 1 more land, I would snap keep it. Oh, actually, this is a turn 3 win? Yeah, this is a turn 3 win if I drew a land. I guess I probably have a little bit of time versus Boggles. I'm going to go ahead and keep this. It's risky. Oof. Alright, well, now I'm really glad I brought in the Wear and Tears. Leyline means I cannot Merchant Scroll into Gifts Ungiven targeting them, though. So this game is going to be a lot more awkward. Ah, okay. Found our game backup game plan, though. Empty the Warrens. So now if I can hit a land next turn, we can just empty for a large amount. And then just try to fade the Coronet. The opponent didn't play any auras turn 1 on their, or turn 2 on their Bogle, though, which is pretty good for me. Ah, Gaddock Teague! Okay, that's fine. And we did draw the land. Okay, so we play the land, we get our island, we play our Electromancer, and I can still Grape Shot the Gaddock Teague down before I empty the Warrens for a large amount. So they brought in they had multiple sideboard cards versus me, but if this Electromancer lives, then we're going to be in good shape. Actually, even if Electromancer dies, I can still, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I would need to hit one more land or 1 more ritual to Grape Shot empty. What would the best draws be? The best draws next turn would be Manamorphose into Wear and Tear. Yeah. Manamorphose into Wear and Tear would win the game, presumably. Alright, they have a green. I'm not sure what kind of hand they kept if... Oh, no. I imagine we'll see some number of auras here. There's an Open the Armory, Hyena Umbra. And they put it on the Gaddock Teague. Alright, so I need to deal 5 damage to Gaddock Teague now. Oh, there's the Manamorphose. Okay, if this finds Wear and Tear, we win. Actually want to start off with a Pyretic Ritual here. Then Manamorphose to get as much blue as I can. Merchant Scroll, darn, okay. So I can Gifts, but remember, I can't target them with the Gifts, but we might as well just cast it out to thin out our deck. And then we can Desperate Ritual, Splicing Desperate Ritual for a large amount of mana. That's Storm 4. Storm 5 Ritual. Oh, I guess I just need a Grape Shot Gaddock Teague with everything, don't I? Because that's the only thing I can target. All right. And that's the nice thing about playing against the Hyena Umbra type effects. Like, the creature is not new or different, so you can just continuously target it with Grape Shot to kill it. And then we empty for 16. All right. Take that, Stinky Gaddock Teague. I don't need no Grape Shots. I got Gabos. I got Gabos for days. I'm not going to say we didn't draw well there, because we certainly did, but opponent had both the Leyline and the Gaddock Teague versus me, and, well, look at this board state. You be the judge. You be the judge. And we are currently 3-0-6-0 in this competitive Modern League, so let's keep the train rolling and try to win some treasure chests at the end of this. Match number 4 of this league. We won the die roll again. We are on the play again because we are that good. Oh, but we have the triple brawl, no land hand. Gotta ship this down to 6. Not a very good 6. We're going to need to get some nice ones off the top here, but it's definitely a keep. What? What are you talking about? I haven't been playing Storm a lot. Alright. If we saw something that we wanted to keep, I can see just not doing anything and just playing a land turn 1. Which, honestly, I could do. There's nothing wrong with keeping Sleight of Hand on top, passing after playing a land turn 1, and then just double Sleight of Hand to set up, but I'm going to Flooded Strand for an island and go ahead and Slight. I do not know about the Mulligan Bug. Right, let's get an island here. Now, notably, we only have 1 basic left in the deck for any path type effects. Ooh, and a Gifts Ungiven. Happy to take that bad boy. I think I get greedy. Oh, wow, opponent kept a no-lander? Okay, I guess I'm going to play out Brawl and just go for the Gifts Ungiven turn 3. Alright, well, this game looks to be over. I could even go off this turn if this ritual hits a ritual, or if this Manamorphose hits a ritual, so I might as well go for it. Did not, so we'll just main phase. Oh, wait, I don't need to do this. I can hold up Remand after gifting. Not sure what the opponent kept. Maybe they just mulliganed down to 5 and hoped to get there, because that's what it looked like. But, oh, I guess they just scooped. All right, so we will go to game 2 versus Unknown, where I'm still in the dark. Okay, and this is probably a little bit too YOLO. I'm in the dark. I'm going to bring in the Blood Moons. I'm going to bring in the Ley Lines. And I'm going to bring in 2 Wear and Tear. Don't hate me, chat. I'm going to take out the Romands. I'm going to take out Merchant Scrolls. And I'm going to take out the Gifts, because I think I like feeling a little bit dangerous in the unknown. So let's try this out and go to game 2. All right, here we go for game 2 versus Unknown. And they're on a mulligan. Our hand is awesome. So let's keep this bad boy. Sleight of hand, sleight of hand. Let's see, turn 1 sleight of hand, get an island off Scalding Tarn. Alright. Opponent mulligans down to 5. And Brushland into Noble Hierarch. Alright, so they're probably on Bant Eldrazi. Ooh, where a Blood Moon might be good if I can find a way to kill their Noble Hierarch. All right, let's keep the Desperate Ritual over the Pyretic. Ancient Stirrings for Eldrazi Temple. Okay. And another Noble Hierarch plus Cavern of Souls. Oh man, I would love to draw like a Grape Shot next turn. Just a stinky Brawl. Okay. Oh, I will happily play the first Brawl out and just pass turn. I could have gone for Desperate Ritual into Blood Moon there, but because they have the double Noble Hierarch draw, I don't think that's as necessary. I fully expect a Thought-Knot Seer in my future, but... Ooh, Grafdigger's Cage. Alright. That is also fine. Pyretic Ritual. Alright. So let's start with a Sleight of Hand. Leyline of Sanctity, not worth it. We'll take a Thought Scour, I guess. I do want to cast the Blood Moon now this turn. So let's... Yeah, let's Pyretic Ritual for 3 mana. Manamorphose for 2 blue. Found a Spire Bluff Canal. Which means I actually can Thought Scour myself first. And drew another land. And then land, Blood Moon, pass. I guess we can attack for 1. Might as well. They only have 1 card left in their hand and we have time. We're under no rush, no pressure. Noble Hierarch attack for 2 is not so great as soon as I play my Electromancer out. Ugh, the third Brawl, though, a pretty terrible draw for me. I guess since I have so much time, there's no need for me to trade 1 for 2 at that point. End of turn, Natural State. Alright, on my Blood Moon. That's not a good sign. Into... Is this a Drowner of Hope? Indeed it is, alright. Grape Shot, not what we're looking for here. Yeah, I guess we're just passing. I could kill both of their Noble Hierarchs, though. But at this point, it doesn't seem as relevant. Had I had the opportunity to do that earlier, I would. A third Noble Hierarch, though, an attack for 8. We are happily going to block here since we have a glut of Brawl. Okay, let's Manamorphose. Get 2 blue. Hey, there's... I mean, that's good, right? That's good, but it doesn't actually do anything until... after the fact, since I don't have a Past in Flames or anything anyways. I will do the Grape Shot, though, right now, and just kill all the opponent's X1s. Might as well. They'll probably tap down one of my creatures in response, but not a big deal. And yeah, I'm not chumping with it, so I might as well attack for 2. Just need to find a lovely little Past in Flames or something. Oh, hello, Daddy. All right, Past in Flame. Sorry, Desperate Ritual. Past in Flames, and that should be the game. I have enough card draw and dig to where, even though that I don't have any of the combo pieces right now, we can find our way into them. So let's start off with a Sleight of Hand. Oh, and the opponent just scoops. They have the writing on the wall. And we are very quickly 4-0-8-0 with our modern Storm deck. So let's try to get another win. Let's try to finish off this league 5-0. All right, here we are for the 5th and final match with our blue-red Gifts Ungiven Storm deck. We are on the draw. And our opponent Mulligan, we're going to keep this hand. Looks pretty good. We do have a Gifts Ungiven in it, so that's always a nice thing. Merchant Scroll on turn 2 for Gifts Ungiven. sleight of hand to hopefully find one of those lovely creatures that I like to cast out ever so often. Another ritual. Never a bad draw this early, especially when my hand's a little bit lackluster. Alright, sleight of hand into, I guess, Grape Shot, since we don't need any more lands at this point. Opponent ahead of time told me they know I'm on Storm, and they said they're playing Mono Green Devotion to make things fair. So props on the opponent. No land from them turn 2. We're going to go ahead and Merchant Scroll that Gifts Ungiven. And we can even Gifts Ungiven next turn if we want to. Birds of Paradise. Pretty tempted just to go ahead and shoot the bird. Not going to lie. But I guess it's probably better here just to pass with Remand open, and then we can Pyretic Ritual into gifts if they don't do anything worth countering. Voyaging Satyr. I am a-okay to let that resolve, as, well, we can simply kill both of their mana dorks next turn if we don't go off here. So, Gifts Ungiven, gonna get ourselves, let's see, can get, I mean, the usual split again is double Ritual, Past in Flames, Manamorphose, which I think I'm gonna do, but I could here instead opt to go for like Baral, Electromancer, and 2 other spells. But I think I like the Past in Flames, the normal package here. We'll see if we can make do with this. If not, then I can just Ritual and play a few spells and kill their mana dorks. Okay, so I have access to 4 mana, 5, 6, 7, which means I can Past in Flames from the graveyard. And then I have 2 floating, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that enough to then Grape Shot, Remand, Grape Shot? I actually get to Serum Visions first then if I do that, right? So play the land out here. 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Past in Flames. That's 4 spells. Then have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, that should be enough to win. Alright, so Pyretic Ritual, Desperate Ritual, Past in Flames, Pyretic Ritual, Desperate. Actually, we want to here Manamorphose, because if we draw a Desperate Ritual, then we can splice onto it from our hand. Another Remand. Alright, Desperate Ritual. That's 9 spells. We then get to Grape Shot them for 9. Remand the initial Grape Shot and then do it for 11. Good stuff. Didn't even need a mana dork. And then finish them off there. Not the most common thing to do without a mana creature, but if you have the Remand and you have enough rituals, you can certainly get there, as y'all just saw. Turn 4. Our opponent did stumble on mana, which was good for us, obviously, but... So let's bring in some Lightning Bolts. Let's bring in the Sudden Shock. I like empty versus these type of decks. I don't think we want to bring in Blood Moon, although we could. Those decks, you often run like Utopia Sprawl as well, so I could see bringing in Wear and Tear, although that's a little bit too cute. I think just bringing in the 3 burn effects and then the Empty the Warrens could be good. Although, you know, granted, maybe an Anger of the Gods over the Sudden Shock is not a bad idea. I love the Remands in this type of matchup. I don't need 2 Grape Shots. I should probably bring in some hate for... I'm not sure what they bring in their sideboard is the only problem, so I could get caught with my pants down, as they say, by going like this. But I think we're going to try it like this. So we're going to cut a Grape Shot, 2 gifts, and a Merchant Scroll, bring in 2 bolts, anger, and the second empty the warrants. And let's go to game 2. Game 2 versus red-green Nykthosy type effects. We're on the draw. I'm going to keep this hand. We have the Past in Flames in it. We have a creature, and I have a turn 1 Serum Visions to help me find some extra critters. So hopefully, or rather, not extra critters, extra land. So hopefully, especially on the draw, we get to do some work here. All right, and there's a Scalding Tarn. We'll go ahead and pop that off first. Pop our fetch before we Serum Vision. Find ourselves an Electromancer and a land on top. I don't think we want either of those cards, so we're going to bottom both. If the opponent plays another creature here, I will probably just Grape Shot away. But we'll see. 3 mana. This could just be a Courser of Crucifix and a Fertile Ground. Okay, interesting. Am I able to go off this turn? Not quite. Am I able to go off next turn? Possibly. I'm going to go ahead and just Grape Shot their Arbor Elf now that they're drawing the Fertile Ground and pass here. I don't want to put my Goblin Electromancer in range of a bolt or something. All right, Nykthos off the top reveals Garruk Wildspeaker. Presumably they cast their Fertile Ground here. And they have a follow-up play of... Ooh, a Scavenging Ooze. Okay. So I would love to hit another Ritual or something here to try to go off. I can Electromancer, Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, and go from there. So we'll see. All right, Manamorphose for 2 blue. Another Desperate Ritual. We're going to use the Past in Flames, using all of the red. We will cast Desperate Ritual first, then Manamorphose, getting more blue. Actually, no, we want to Serum Visions now, while we're keeping the Manamorphose, so that we can Serum Visions, draw a card, and then possibly draw the card we want to scry into. Another Serum Visions. Not exactly the best draw, but I'll go ahead and keep that on top. Manamorphose into 2 blue. Serum Visions. Hitting a Gifts Ungiven. Hey, we did it. Alright, so it doesn't matter now. We get to bottom. Whatever. Ritual. Gifts Ungiven. And this is a turn 3 kill. Turn 3 kill while playing our Electromancer. We already have a Past in Flames in the graveyard, so we don't need to get another one. And instead, we can just actually get like an Empty the Warrens if we wanted to. Wow, that was a beautiful hit. Beautiful, lovely hits. Yeah, the power of Storm. Turn 3 on the draw while playing a creature in the very same turn. All right, Ritual. Flashback the Past in Flames again. Go off again with Rituals. And our Storm count is already high enough for our lone Grape Shot in the graveyard. So let's target the opponent. Kill them on turn 3 with a Grape Shot for 20. And that, my friends, is a lovely, lovely 5-0, 10-0? I think that might be a 5-0, 10-0. Good stuff, good stuff. Opponent's saying, yeah. They had a they thought they had a turn. Happy videoing. And boom, 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 boom. Grape shots for days. Bingo, bango, bongo, as I like to say. That, my friends, is the dream. The 5-0, the 8 treasure chests. In fact, now that we've 5-0'd, 5-0, 10-0, let's go open those treasure chests just for some extra value, shall we? I know you guys like watching the chest opening, so let's go see what rewards were pulled from going 5-0 with the Storm list. Chest number 1. 40 play points, all right, and a Duretti Ingenious Iconoclast. Card is not worth very much, but hey, 40 play points is about 4 tickets, so good value there. Second chest. Oh, a masterpiece Staff of Domination. I think that's worth like 7 tickets, so not huge, but hey, very cool, and again, worth some decent ticks. Number 3, 30 play points and some draft fodder. Number 4, what do we get? 20 play points, again, some filler cards. Number 5, 30 play points and a Grand Abolisher. I'm not actually sure how much the Grand Abolisher is worth. I know that used to be played in something, but I will assume it's not worth very much. Carplusan Forest and 2 unknown, or not 2 unknowns, 2 Junkie Trunks. 3 more left. 10 play points, a foil Balance of Power. Kind of cool, I guess, but again, probably worth nothing. And hey, a Planner Bridge masterpiece. All right, so 8 chests, some really good booty. I actually have 1 leftover chest from something, but wow, good stuff. So let's see what this last chest opens. 40 play points. All right, good stuff. Hopefully you all enjoyed this look at Constructed Modern. This was the Storm deck that I played at GP Vancouver. I've been having a lot of fun with it. You know, again, with the addition of Baral in the format, it just really helps the deck tick, as you've probably seen in this video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Please check out all of the other content here on YouTube and Numot Gaming. For everybody else here at the Numot Gaming house, and by that I mean me and everybody else that helps the Numot Gaming community. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Take it easy.